I
Yeah.
had
Hey, you're right. Good to see you
yeah,
again.
and you, yeah. So we were talking about the Bellend Day,
Mm.
as we're calling it, named by you
Yeah,
with the experience of being a Bellend.
yeah, 100%. I can't deny that at times I turn into a bellend. Um,
Right.
Thankfully, a lot less than I used to.
Yeah.
And I think that's a combination. Well, it's definitely a combination of awareness and acceptance. But back in those days, it was ignorance and avoidance.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I
In
mean?
fact, we've just had a meeting, and one of the ladies there was saying she's been in business for 3 years, and actually she's been doing lots of personal development stuff recently. One of the questions we asked is, what like uncomfortable feelings are coming up for you when you're thinking about, and she was like, there's so much less of those uncomfortable feelings coming up now
Yeah.
because of the work she's done on herself. Is not necessarily the time in business always.
Yeah, 100%. So people say to me all the time, when does it get easier, Ad? I'm like, what do you mean? They go, business ownership and that. When does it get easier? I'm like, it doesn't. We get better. We get
Yeah.
more confident. We get more resilient. We get less adverse to not taking risks. You know, we take more risks and we take more calculated risks. We get better at questioning stuff to understand stuff. So we make better informed decisions. You know, we get better coaches or better mentors, whatever it might be, but we get better. It doesn't get easier.
Yeah.
And it's like 80% of that is in here. It's not the business chassis. That's like 20%. But yes, there's lots of activities that go into that. But oh my God, so much of it is head and heart because none of that matters if your head's in the shed.
Exactly. Or if you lose your love, I know through my business, I've gone through these peaks and troughs of like losing love for my business
Oh, yeah.
because I'm not aligned with what I want to be doing. I'm trying to do things to make money, but actually they're not things I enjoy doing. So then I get really bored. And I
Yeah.
guess this is part of your day. We'll be looking at, which parts of your business are you enjoying, which parts are you not enjoying.
Yeah. It's a huge focus, if you like, in terms of the natural conversation that starts to appear throughout the day with people. Because I'll talk about soul account and bank account because there's two accounts.
Right.
We need the
Yeah.
financial account, but we also need the soul account. So if I'm making lots of money, but it's killing my soul, I'm not interested. So
Yeah.
when people say to me, "What's your ideal client ad?" and I'm like a meaty one, and
Yeah.
a meaty one could be a brand new startup. It doesn't need to be somebody that wants to pay me 50 grand. Because if they want to
Yeah.
pay me 50 grand so they can go and say, I've got a coach, I'm not interested. If they want to pay me lots of money to go and then not do any of the work and be a pain in the ass, I'm not interested. Because with the greatest respect, I'm not going to be sleeping in the doorway of a shop because
Yeah.
you sign up to a contract, right? My business is geared up to not be that dependent on one supplier, on one contract, on one client. So yeah, it's very much like if there's where is the joy in what you're doing? So what's topping up your soul? And if we've lost that, I think we lose a lot more than just finance.
Yeah. And I think actually we're in a bit of a era at the moment where people, like you said earlier, it's not an overnight thing. And
Mm.
although people are impatient, they do want quick fixes. Like, and I'm sure
Yeah.
some of the stuff you're going to be putting in place are things that can have fast results.
Yeah.
But we've gone past that phase of like make £10,000 overnight. Those kind of marketing ploys, which actually false promises.
Yeah.
It's not like it says on the tin.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This
It's really common. It doesn't matter how many times I say it. There are no magic beans for this stuff. People still go, yeah, yeah, but where are the beans?
Yeah, yeah,
I'm like, there are none. You know, so there are sometimes shortcuts. Sometimes you'll stumble across these shortcuts, and this is another thing that comes out of the nature of businesses sharing stuff, which is part of our community. Is like some people will be working with an SEO and they'll discover something on their website and it has a massive effect, or they're doing something on their social media and this happens. And one of the things I talk to people about a lot is Google My Business, which is now Google Maps and everything else. But you can use that as a social platform. You can use it just like you can use Facebook, but
amazing.
people don't. But it's like if you put two posts up on Google in your Google business account, just like you put up on Facebook, two of those a month, I bet you see a difference in terms of interaction on your page and on your website and stuff because it's in Google where people are.
Yeah,
You see
and
what I
it's
mean?
like
But it's like,
those little nuggets of information that you get just by communicating and
by sharing stuff. I tried this and it worked. I tried this. If somebody said to you, I did this consistently for 3 months and it cost me 100 grand, you'd be like, oh, I don't want to do that. But if they showed you in reverse, you'd be interested, right?
Yeah.
I remember Jim Rohn years ago. Jim Rohn was talking about the part-time income, and Jim Rohn did a load of, it was a brilliant business mentor, but he did a load of stuff in the network marketing space. So Clean Easy, Amway and all that sort of stuff that people will know, and brands, and they've got good and bad reputations, right? And it's like Amway works, it's whether you made it work or not. So that's the kind of difference with those models. Anyway, Jim was saying about the part-time income, and he was talking about people that start doing one of these little side hustles, and they start doing, and they get like 300, 400 quid a month, 500 quid a month. And it's like they did the research to find out what would be a life-changing amount in someone's bank account. And initially people thought it was millions and everything else. What it turned out to be was, on average, £500 a month once everything's paid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you've just got more money in your account than the days in the month, it doesn't need to be a significant amount for you to be able to go, we could have another holiday. We might be able to upgrade the car. So then people see the Mercedes on the drive and they go, oh, how come you've got a new car? And your response is, oh, it's this part-time thing I've got going on. Everyone wants to know that story.
Yeah.
But if your answer was, oh, it's this full-time thing I'm doing, I'm working 100 hours a week and it's absolutely killing me, funnily enough, no one wants to hear that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? So I think it's conditioned a mindset of people that get into business, especially through this side hustle route, is it's going to be really easy. I'm going to make loads of money, blah, blah, and that's not the reality of it. It takes time to grow anything that's worth having.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but it doesn't mean that we can't shortcut some things. It doesn't mean that we can't focus some areas, carve our time up better. Because, Caroline, I took my daughter to Paris for her 16th birthday. We went to the Pantheon, and we went in Pantheon, I think. And we went into the crypt, and like my daughter's of that age, 15, 16, where, slightly gothy, all that stuff's coming through.
Yeah.
Let's go to the crypt. And she was like, okay. And I was like, I want to know who's buried here, because anyone of any worth back in history that's changed the world will be here. Everybody else is buried in graveyards around the country, right? But in Paris. Yeah. So, and we found Marie Curie. And we were sat in the crypt with Marie Curie and her husband, Pierre Curie, and Marie Curie. And I'm sat there with my 16-year-old girl, and I was like, do you know who this is? And she was like, no. And I had the conversation. I was like, well, Granddad lived for 3 years longer based on the radiation treatment that he got. And that was off of the back of Marie Curie's work. So we had 3 extra years with Granddad because of this lady here. Straight away, it was like, oh, wow. And I said, yeah, but let me explain. She was of an age, she was sent away from her parents at the age of 6. Her parents were teachers in Poland, and they gave her an education up to the age of 6, but girls weren't allowed to go to school back then in Poland. So they sent their daughter away at the age of 6 to France so that she could get an education. Imagine that. I said, so she wasn't allowed an education, and she was a woman. Fast forward, there's a brilliant photo, black and white photo of the great minds of the day. And there's like Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein and Pascal and all these guys, and one woman, Marie Curie. So she broke the mold and she changed history. She had nowhere near the technological advances that we have today. But I tell you what she did have was exactly the same 24 hours in any day that we have now.
Yeah.
So what's our excuse?
Yeah. I love the quote, if you think you can't make a difference by yourself, get into a room with a mosquito.
Yeah, try sleeping in a room with a mosquito, isn't it? Absolutely. It's like, it's minute, but you're here, and you're like, there's no way you're sleeping.
No way. And then you wake up and you definitely know it's been around.
Yeah, 100%. And it's that sort of stuff. It's like, I talk poetically about business. I talk strategically about business. I talk with love and passion. And sometimes I talk with absolute frustration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that is the roller coaster of business.
Yeah.
There are times when, God, there's a gentleman by the name of James Fryer who saved my business years ago. And I think he's based in Stroud, lovely bloke, and he saved my business, didn't even know he did. And years later when I met him and I told him, he's like, I never realized that. I said, of course you didn't.
No.
But I was driving to put an event on that day, and we had overnight cancellations. So it meant I was going to lose money on the event. And I was so frustrated with it. I was like, right, sacking it off. I'm going to close Sales Academy. I'm done. I've had enough.
Yeah.
I literally turned the car around, and as I was driving down the road, my phone went on and I answered the phone on the dash, and it was a mobile number. So I answered it. If it had been a landline, I probably wouldn't have done. And it was a mobile number. I answered it, and it was James saying, "I've been trying to book on your event. I'm coming with two of my friends, but we've had problems booking on. Can we?" And that was the difference between that event being profitable or not.
Yeah.
So I turned around and said, "Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you there at 9 o'clock." And I turned the car back around and went up there. But I was going home. I was sacking it off.
Yeah. And I've done a post about this literally just this morning, Adam, saying, you know, you could give up on yourself today when tomorrow is when that big shift's going to happen. You just never know.
Yeah.
And everything's suddenly going to change. And what happens is most people get so frustrated without the tools as well. They give up on themselves just before, you know, they've done all the groundwork.
Yeah.
And then they give up on themselves before they get the fruition from it. So
yeah, exactly that. And this is where, you know, that when I talk about Sales Academy, it was called Sales Academy because people avoid sales. You know, and I've been in sales roles, and I've had every other word on my business card bar sales, right? Yeah, I was in sales. It's like, so there's a real shame that people carry around being in sales. And I used to, until I got my identity strong, which is, you know, every brick that built your house, every item of clothing you're wearing, every piece of food that you eat or drink, is that all of that is the result of a sales conversation at some point. It's also the result of a good marketing campaign. It's also so all of these things matter to make the world turn and make our lives possible.
Yeah.
So why aren't we as professional in sales as doctors are when you go in to see a doctor, right?
Yeah.
So why aren't we that professional in business? The Sales Academy is split down in sales training and business coaching, but our attitude and approach and our ethos to it is all the same. There's training, which is great, but on its own, it doesn't work. So the programs and the business model is based on accountability and support.
Yeah.
But that's the real power of Sales Academy, not me or the training. Don't get me wrong, this training is going to be mind-blowing for them, but it's like, what are you going to do next? And that's what I'm going to be encouraging people to think about. Is like, so what are you going to do with this plan? What are you going to do with what you've learned from today? Because if we, and I'm sure you'll agree, Callum, we've all done it. We go away to a lovely day's training, and then we get home and we've got God knows how many phone calls, God knows how many emails, the notes that we take sit in a drawer, and we find them 6 years later and go, oh, that was really good. I wish I'd done something.
Yeah.
It's pointless going. So that's who it's not for, is people that are going to just come, take the training, and then shove their notes in the drawer and do nothing with it.
Yeah.
Oh, they're man Daily Mail readers. Sorry.
Yeah. Block them out. Are they banned?
Yeah. You know what I
mean? We actually did an analysis a little while ago where everybody had to write down all the knowledge or trainings, books, everything that they've learned over the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Paid for and free, and then what they've done from those things. Because when you look at it and the amount of stuff you sign up to, you do. But like you say, knowledge isn't power if we're not using it.
No. My favorite quote of all time, and I love a quote, you know that, you see it on my social, right? But I love a quote. My favorite one is, knowledge is knowing tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? There you go. So it's like, how do you apply that information to do anything with it? And it's like, one of the things we do is like a weekly accountability call. So all of our clients get access to it, and it's a 15-minute espresso call of accountability. It's game changing.
Yeah.
Human beings left their own devices don't do stuff. So yeah, right. And we're all that kind of creature at times. But the amount of times over the years, people have said to me, I had nothing to tell you on my call, so I had to do some shit.
Yeah.
And then they go, I've had a really productive week because I had a call with you tomorrow and I had nothing to tell you. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And that alone is and it's building that accountability in until they become accountable themselves. Right. And when they do, their goals change. Cool. So they reach another level. The support will always be there. And people drift in and out. But it's that community and that support of, and I don't agree with this like-minded approach. And the reason I don't is, yes, I want to be around people with similar values, but I want people that can blow my thinking apart. So I don't want like-minded because we'll stay the same. I want different-minded, similar valued.
Yes.
Good ethics, good values, good morals. But let's have debate around either subject. And this will come out of the day. People will challenge some of the content going, well, I don't know, why would that work? And how's that? I don't understand. I don't think that'll work for my company or my industry. Happens every session. It's like, brilliant. And the day's built with a little bit of fat built into it that we've got time to explore that stuff.
Yeah.
And brilliant. Then what, you know, everybody that comes to this day, they get 2 coaching sessions with me complimentary following the day as well. So there's some added value that we haven't talked about yet, but they're going to get 2 coaching sessions with us one-to-one, where they can do it right. You're not airing your laundry in public now. You've gone through the day with us. What specifically is keeping you awake at night, right? What's getting in the way of you having what? And then we talk about that over 2 weeks.
I mean, that in itself, Adam, is worth way more than £99. So
yeah, 100%. But the point is, it's like, I want to nudge people and encourage people to do something with it. And to say that but not do it would be disingenuous. So I have to do it to live out my values.
Yeah, amazing.
And it's like, that's what, and I think good, ethical, purpose-led businesses are the future, and collaboration is key. So I'm sure you've seen it. There are lots of people with a scarcity mindset. There are businesses that operate in a scarcity way. They're going to die off. And yes, they might phoenix from the ashes and come again in a different identity and stuff. But we're so much more savvy because we've got so much more access to up-to-date information that we didn't have 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So
well, even being able to communicate on a computer.
We're in 2 countries right now, right? We're in 2 different countries, and we're having a video conversation that we can then share out using social media tools and stuff like that to get this reach, to let people know that this is happening.
Yeah.
You know, but I genuinely, it doesn't bother me whether 3 people are there or 30 people are there, because it's not about the number. What we'll focus on is the people in the room. That's what matters.
Yeah. So I've got another question for you.
Yeah.
So you said this is not for the Daily Mail readers.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else that this is not for?
Yeah. The people whose confirmation bias is so skewed that it doesn't matter what anyone says or does. They're just there to battle.
Yeah.
And I love a heckler, don't get me wrong, right? So I'm not talking about that, but I'm like, if it's exactly this kind of point of, if you go into Google right now and let's just pick Donald Trump as a random example, because he's quite polarizing, right? Yeah. If you think Donald Trump is a hero, and I said to you, Donald Trump is a knob, go into Google and find me all the evidence that he's a hero. That's all you'll see. And all of the evidence that will come up that he's a knob, you'll discount that because your confirmation bias is focused on your belief system.
Yeah.
So there are some people that don't want to have a coach because it will never work and they see it's totally pointless. These people are not open yet into receiving support. And at the same time, there are people that go, oh my God, I need a coach because they can save me. No, I'm not here to save anyone. In fact, if you're not ready to commit to yourself, nobody can support you in healing and saving yourself.
Absolutely.
Right. And there's nobody coming over the hill on a great white steed that's going to do it for you either.
Nobody's
if anyone's coming to this day thinking, oh my God, this is the holy grail, it's not. And if they're coming going, I want to go away with all my questions answered. Okay, let me just clarify. You'll probably go away with more questions than what you came with. However, they will be more informed questions.
Yeah.
Which will lead to better informed decisions and outcomes.
So that leads me on to my next question. What do people need to bring with them in terms of, I guess, an open mind?
Yeah.
Willingness to learn.
Yeah.
And what about any practical stuff? Do they need to bring pen, paper?
Yeah, notepads, paper. So bring a big notepad and paper, and bring if you want to bring A3 sheets or whatever it is and stuff like we'll have some handouts printed out that people can be using throughout the day as well. But it's like, I know what people feel. They like their own different types of notebooks with leather. It's like, so bring what you will find the best for your learning. What I would ask you to do is bring color pens, different color pens. Because we will be encouraging people to not write in blue and black, because that's linear thinking, linear approach.
Okay. So
we're going to talk about the brain a little bit and how we take information in, and using colors can help massively in how we not just how fast it goes in, but how quick we can recall it. So the kind of retention of that and the use of it, colors can have a massive impact on that. So we're doing that in the note taking. We'll have drinks and refreshments provided and all that sort of stuff. So if they want to bring things to top themselves up, and that we'll have all different ranges of tea bags and everything else. So there's we try and cater for everybody in every sense. Come comfortable, don't feel you have to come. It's a business event. Just come comfortable for an education day that you're going to be sitting for periods of time. You're going to be doing some individual exercise and stuff like that. So come comfortable, come prepared with an open mind and a low sensitivity meter.
Yeah, okay. And we've got our roof terrace. So if the weather's nice, bring good weather. We can sit on the roof terrace and have our lunch.
Yeah, that'd be lush.
So one last question. In the description, it says no holds barred. What do you mean by that?
Exactly that. You know, so it comes from a wrestling term, right? Where there used to be different types of wrestling matches where you'd have like showcase things going up, but effectively you'd get to a no holds barred match, which means whatever kicks, throws, punches, things, you can pick up chairs and smash people. So that was where the term comes from. And I use it because I do swear. I don't pretend to be somebody I'm not. Okay. So it will be honest and it will be real and it will be raw. People will be questioning and challenging the subject matter. And good. We want all of that. We encourage all of that. Right. But I'm not going to come at it from a academic textbook. If you do X, Y, and Z, you guarantee to be getting we will talk about all subjects and nothing is off-piste.
Yeah, brilliant.
The one caveat to that is, based on the timescales we've got, we will create a car park. Because if there's stuff that I know is going to send us down a rabbit hole, we will car park it. But that's something we can pick up in the individual coaching calls afterwards, or a conversation at the end of the day if we need to.
Yeah, brilliant.
Right?
So, and I guess
we've got to be prepared, Caroline, for the fact that when we start, we're literally lifting people's scalps and playing about with their subconscious and their bit. Stuff comes out. And we've had tears, tantrums, and all sorts of Bellend days. And it's like, normally that's just from me. Because we're asking people to get honest and we're encouraging them to, it does bring out stuff. And the amount of times that people will face into something and it's the first time they faced into something out loud.
Yeah.
And that can have an impact. So we've got to create that safe space. So that's the other thing that they can expect is a safe space of honesty, but I'm asking them to bring the respect for that for themselves and other people as well.
Amazing. Well, I'm very, very excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, me too.
Especially it'll be, everybody's gone, kids have gone back to school, summer holidays are done, no more playing around. We've only got how long left now till the end of the year?
Yeah, and this is a big thing. It's like, I think September is, and I feel it from people now, is bigger than January when people go into goal setting and everything else, because you're absolutely right. There's only that last chunk left. And for some of them, they'll be looking like it might be 6 months because it might be going through to April. Going through to the end of March and stuff like that. Financial year, if they're that. But other people are literally going, I wanted to achieve this by New Year. I wanted to achieve this by Christmas. So the impetus and the focus needed in that last quarter is massive. It's not just retail and hospitality that's busy. Into the year. So let's have a plan to follow. Right.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of the last point to finish on. Is I don't believe in smart goals. I think they're bullshit. Your goals should terrify you, right? Your goals should be big, hairy, and audacious. But your plan to achieve them, that does need to be smart. Living, breathing, actionable, bite-sized chunks. That's what needs to be smart.
Perfect. Wow, it sounds great. Can't wait.
Lush. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. I will speak to you soon.
Yeah, look forward to it. Take care.